Okay, hello everyone. This is my first attempt at doing a typing video, which is long overdue, I know, but here it is. First attempt because I don't trust myself fully to spontaneously talk about, have answers to the questions and just know what to say, just always, spontaneously. So I might have to prepare next time because I haven't really prepared. I've been preparing in my head for a lot, for years. Not years, a year. I started the class about a year and a half ago. So yeah, I have mulled over like what I would say in a typing video. But yeah, so we'll see what comes out. But I've got myself a little 0% Leffe beer here. So let's try to make it relaxed ambiance. Okay, and I hope, okay, no type talking, let's go. So, first question, what is your average day or week like? Not like anything in particular, really. I do not have an average. Now, recently I've been trying to put my alarm clock on every day at 8 in the morning, just to have that, but sometimes I sleep in, usually I sleep in a little bit, but I have no routine. That's something I've been trying to work on, like routine of just like, okay, wake up in the morning, get out, what you're doing. Almost never do I know what I'm doing in the morning. When I wake up my eyes, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to do this. No. So, okay, wake up time, school, work, friends. Yeah, it changes a lot. I mean, when I was at school, I had to get up at this, at the same time every day, and that was always hard because it was so early in the morning. School starting at 8, so you have to get there. Yeah, but I was not regular in the ways I would go to school either. For example, like I'd take the bus, and then for a year I went on the bike, and one time I wanted to go on my rollerblades, and different routes. I'll walk half of the way and take the bus this far. Yeah, that's definitely a big theme. Something I really want to work on is to get routines down. I've been working on like simple things like having a shower and try to make a routine out of having a shower. So I'm not reinventing it every time. I'm like, okay, now it's even getting to like, okay, so I turn the spigot this far exactly, and that the hot water comes at this time, and I sit in the bath at in this position and turn it, and then the shower comes on, and I try to do, and eventually, hopefully, I will have like a shower routine where I won't have to think about it, and that will make it less of an effort, because it's always such an effort to just have a shower. Like, why is it such an effort? Everyone seems to just have it down. I don't get that. Okay. So yeah, that's it for that question already. Tell us about one of the most stressful times in your life. Ooh, okay. That makes me think of the time when I decided to stop studying, stop my studies at the university. I was studying engineering, and I got my bachelor's degree, which is 3 years, and I'd started doing a master's degree. But actually the real reason I started the master's degree was because I'm invested in student culture a lot, and our university called the VUB, the Vrije Universiteit van Brussel, so Free University of Brussels, Flemish speaking, but the French speaking as well. All the universities in Belgium have this. It's student culture. So we have the hats and the student initiation and the song nights and the parties. It's great. I loved it. My first impression, I hated it, but because they came in during the class and I was trying to listen to the class and trying to understand, which in a different language, because I started my studies, I'm skipping a lot. Oh, no type talk. I started my studies not speaking fluent Dutch, because I'm French speaking at school, and then I decided to go to the university in Flemish just to work on my Dutch and study engineering. Like that would be in the, no question, you have to, and I did learn it in the end, I learned it. So I was trying to concentrate on the lesson, and it was a fake lesson actually. Some guy had come up and talking about binary, something way too advanced, and I was like following and trying to take notes. And then all these students with their black hats on come in shouting, "Right, everyone get underneath your banks, everyone sit down on the floor." And I was like, what the fuck is this? There were these two people who were like disrupting the class, and that was their role. They had been planted there to like throw airplanes and talk. And I was like, is someone gonna speak up? This was during the lesson, before the students came in. I was like, is someone going to speak up and like tell them to shut the fuck up, because I'm trying to listen to this class. In the end, I had to say like, my fucking French accent Flemish, could you please stop talking, because I'm trying to listen to the class. So I was already pissed off, and then they all come in and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And they start singing songs, and it's like, it's crass, like boobies and beer and man. And I was like, okay, it is kind of funny, but I was angry. And then they handed me a beer, because they were like, yeah, poor this guy, give him a beer, because, he's had a hard time. And then after a while, I started singing along, and I was like, wow. And it's like, everyone under the bench, okay, everyone in a line, go out in a line, holding hands like this, and look down to the ground, and give us one of your shoes. So that's just like the first day. It's like the introduction day. Every student club has a different style. So there's not like a one way they do it. But, it's great. And I actually enjoyed it so much that I became myself what's called baptism president. So I was like the leader of the initiation for the first years in my 5th year of studying. So that's that's why I started studying my master's degree, because I was like, I'd done my bachelor's degree, but I didn't really know why. I thought I'd do engineering because it'll just open a lot of doors up for me, but I didn't have like a career choice idea, like a clear idea of where I was heading. I just wanted to learn about how the world worked, basically, through engineering eyes. So I thought that seemed quite interesting. And so I got my bachelor's degree, and the master's I chose energy, which is, for the planet, which was good, but I didn't want to make that my job. It wasn't like my passion, my mission. So I was studying for that. And on the side, being the president of the first years, which was amazing. That was really good. I could go on and on about this, because it's huge. It's a whole culture. It's amazing. It does get some scrutiny. Some people are like, I don't like that. And like, that's an interesting conversation to have. I like having that conversation now, because I'm grounded in what it is and what it's good for and what it's not good for, and in what ways it sometimes can go off the rails and stuff like that. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. So what was I saying? Yeah, so the most stressful time of my life, I was studying for the exams. So we have 2 exam periods, in December and in June. So this was the first half of the year. I was studying in my blokkers, which is cramming for your exams. And I had a moment where I just decided I'm not doing it. Like, I was forcing myself to study, and I'd been studying like worse and worse over the years, like always more and more, leaving it to the bitter end, like studying till 5 a.m. and then arriving at the exam having slept for an hour, and like doing it and then passing just, and I'm like, okay, this worked, so I could do that again. Once I actually literally fell asleep during the exam on my table. So yeah, I was like pushing myself to study. I was like, I have to study because, this is, do it. And then I was like, you know what? I don't want to study. Fuck it. And at that time, I just stopped. I basically quit halfway through the year, which is not done if you're president of the first years. Very naughty, but they didn't give me too much shit for that, luckily. But I remember that moment, and I've had a sort of a traumatism of taking exams ever since then. Like, I was in Morocco a couple years later, and I was studying Arabic in Marrakesh on my own. And on the last day, they're like, okay, we're going to do an exam. And I was like, huh? You know what? No, I don't have to do an exam. I'm just studying this for my pleasure, and I do not want to do that. Thank you very much. And the teacher was a bit perplexed. She was like, oh, well, I haven't prepared the lesson now, so I don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, okay, well, that's okay. Yeah, I'm still kind of getting over that exams and the university style of, telling you what you need to learn for something. I think it's all the problem is I didn't have my passion. I've just gotten into Tony Robbins more. Like, I've known him since before. I think OP did introduce him to me, but that was a couple of years ago. But just recently, I've been listening to him again, and talking about it. Find something that gives you energy, not something that takes energy from you. And Gray was like telling me like, oh yeah, okay, so what's your goal in life, you? And I was like, well, actually, to be honest, I do see myself as a leader eventually. I actually am currently president of a student group for Brussels folklore, Brussels culture and dialect. And that's going really well. And I think I do have potential to just, carry on from there, gradually. I can imagine some of you guys being like, oh yeah, leader, right. because I guess because of my reputation in the OP group, in the OP Facebook groups, I've been kind of not acting like a leader at all recently, out of rebellion, or I think I thought it was honesty, like, oh, I'm just being honest about what I think, and I'm giving myself permission to express my honest thoughts and let the chips fall where they may. And I guess I've proven that to myself. I've proven that to myself because I guess what I'd say is, at first I felt like I was not allowed to have those wrong thoughts, judgmental thoughts, or whatever it is, sort of say certain things. And so I was like, okay, first thing is I want to be allowed to do that. And then second thing, now I'm like, okay, well, Adam, well done. You've proven that you're allowed to say it. Now you can start fucking not doing that anymore because it's not helpful. Yeah, Lummy. I hope I can see how unclear I am with what I'm talking about. I can't just like fucking start one subject and sort of see what do you already know about the subject, and give you the background information that's needed, not too much but enough so as you can understand what I'm saying. I often do that. I'm talking to people, I be thinking about something, and then I tell them the last thing I thought of, And they're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, tell me, back up. I get that a lot. Something else I get is people telling me that I zone out. Like they're telling me something, and then just while they're talking to me, I suddenly start thinking about something else, and I completely tune out what they're saying. I can't hear it, and I'm like, and it's not conscious. It's like not on purpose. I'm not ignoring them on purpose. Usually, unless they're like really too much trying to get my attention. And I'm like, I just want to listen to my music. I've got my headphones on. Do not disturb. But otherwise, yeah, people have told me that. And they're like, oh, all right then. I mean, it's pretty rude, but I'm working on it. I'm not doing that. Okay. Stressful times in my life. Anything else? I probably left a couple stories unfinished just now, but I just can't. Sorry. I don't know. No, sorry. Okay. What are some problems I see with the world? Oh, yes. Oh, problems I see with the world. Okay. I'm very big on like language and culture. And I see in the world, the thing I've sort of narrowed down on is that cultures have been tending to go to globalize and become a sort of a monoculture. Now, I've calmed down with this idea, I feel like, over the last couple of years, but I used to be like really upset about it. And, like, we have to do something about it. So basically the idea is, because of globalism, because of everyone communicating all over the world so much, all the unique cultures that developed separately from everything else is sort of getting sucked into the world culture, and those world cultures are often those colonial cultures. Actually, if you imagine, I'll give you an example, like just languages. So how many languages are disappearing every day? I have no idea, but I can tell you that because Spain invaded all of South America up to Mexico, and all those places all used to speak loads of different dialects. Imagine like all of South America, all the different dialects that developed spontaneously from not being in contact with the rest of the world, with further than their nearest neighbors. And then suddenly Spain comes and says, boom, everyone's speaking Spanish. And British came into Canada and the US and Australia and New Zealand. And it's boom, and Ireland and Scotland and Wales, and they said, boom, everyone's speaking English, motherfuckers. And I mean, in all those countries, there's still remnants of these old languages that are there, but it's much, much less strong. So that's definitely a problem I see with the world, is the degradation, the loss of cultural diversity. And yes, and I do think that's sad, because it's an identity thing. People like to feel like they're part of a culture, of a unique group of people, and that they're a member of that, and they're there, and that they have also a culture to share. If you want to have cultural exchange, it's a pleasure to share your culture, but then you have to know what your culture is. And a lot of people, like, I'm sure, if you ask them to do a cultural exchange, they'll be like, well, I don't know what my culture is. I listen to Eminem. And you're like, yeah, okay. Well, great. That's boring. Anyway, it's not that bad. I mean, it's still developing everywhere. New cultures are developing everywhere, but that's just definitely something that I have narrowed down on, and I've gone very far in sort of thinking about how to solve that problem. I'm a strong supporter of Esperanto as a parallel culture. So the idea is, so the solution to the problem, I've given you the problem, and now I'll give you the solution, is that you need to have biculturalism. And I guess some people will get that and some don't, because I grew up having different cultures. You know, I speak English at home and I went to school in French. So immediately I'm switching from one culture to the other, and I express both. And I have others as well now. But anyway, so the idea is there's a world language, which is Esperanto, not English. Not English because English is English. It's a culture on its own. It's a national thing. Well, it's a lot of things, English is. But I'm English, and English can't be the international language, because I feel like that takes away from the English culture itself. You know, English culture is Winnie the Pooh, or British culture is Winnie the Pooh, and, you know, muffins and Marmite. And I feel like if we speak English as an international language, that is giving an enormous amount of power to the British. You know, it's like basically you won. Like, why would it be English? Because the English were the most brutal in enforcing their language. Oh yeah, well let's just all accept that. Fuck. Let's just all accept that English won, and we'll all speak your language. Well done, and we'll all travel to the English-speaking countries to learn their language, and we'll all pay for their movies and for their music and for their newspapers. Ooh, can you have unbiased journalism if English is the language of the world? Will it be unbiased? I don't know. I haven't thought about this like this for a long time, but it always gets me sort of riled up. So the idea is Esperanto as the international language, and everyone has it as a second language or as a parallel language. Nobody speaks just Esperanto. I mean, you can if you want to, but I mean, the goal is to have an enriching culture. So you've got the Esperanto, which is the world culture, and everyone can take that on as an identity. I'm a member of the world. And then second, everyone has their local language that they speak with their friends or whatever. And that is definitely possible. You could do it. But yeah, it has to be done. It has to be done. How? By making it fun. And that's not there yet, because Esperanto has an enormous problem with SF. And I'm going to type talk now. SF, the problem with Esperanto, it's super nerdy. Oh my God. I mean, that's the identity that it's got now. It's like, it's for all these weird people who are like interested in Esperanto. It's too weird. So it needs to get past that hill. So I don't know how we're going to do that, but yeah, I'm thinking about it. All right, okay. Problems I see with the world. I'm tiring out now a bit already. 24 minutes, let's go. Okay. Problems. Brussels dialect. I learned the Brussels dialect of Okay, so I'm from Brussels, I live in Brussels, and when I grew up, there were still a couple words that my teachers would use in their French from the old, Brussels is in Flanders, so it's like, it's, the French language sort of was upper class, was like chic, so the people from Brussels started speaking that just to give themselves a bit more grandeur, as you may know. And so they would let go of their or they would switch from Flemish dialect to French. And so it gave rise to a whole dialect of Brussels ranging from Flemish to French, and with lots of different expressions and words and things, and an accent that's like, wah. It's amazing. It's like great, and there's songs and. But Brussels has become very completely French speaking. Now it's officially bilingual, and there's more Flemish people coming in. They're sort of gaining back their territory. But this is, modern Flemish, modern as in standardized Flemish. I talk about language a lot. So I started learning it, and it's great. I mean, we've got the songs and the expressions, and there's actually it's not just a language. Like, it's so funny how strongly the language itself is linked to a way of expressing yourself, which I would say is a lot more masculine DE. In a sense, it's very punchy. Like, the humor linked to Brussels dialect is basically, I'm gonna say something that sounds like fuck you, but I don't mean it. It just looks like it, and so it's very sort of, oh yeah, well, I think this. Oh yeah, well, that. And it's very funny if you get into it, but it takes some time to get used to it. Especially there's some people who are not so good at showing how it's friendly. Because, if you see if I say like fuck you and the person sort of is offended, then I'll be like, oh, I'm just joking, and they'll get it. But some people are like, what? You think? Now I won't say that. This is too. You probably have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. What the fuck am I talking about? I know, but I can't talk about everything. God. Right. Okay. Tell us about one of the best times of your life. Well, I told you about the student group culture, the baptism. We do a baptism where you actually have to, so it's like a student initiation. And at the university, the baptism is you throw lots of stuff at the people, well, no, that's not the main part. The main thing is it's a theatre show and everyone's naked. Everyone's girls wear a little thing on, just in case. But apart from that, you're naked and sober, because it's a whole psychology around it. It's about freedom, because it's the Free University of Brussels. It's like, the Free University of Brussels came out because it's unaffiliated to any religion, right? And it was founded in 1834. So there is a strong anti-Catholic culture there, especially in the old songs, in the songbooks, because nowadays Catholicism is not that strong anymore. So it's kind of weird to be singing these anti-Catholic songs when it's like, what's Catholicism anyway? That's in Brussels, basically everyone is atheist, basically. Like, you'd be surprised that's something I want to talk about, atheism and religion, because that's something that gets me fucked off a lot. But anyway, most people of sort of my generation, if you'd ask them what they believe, they'll be like, oh, well, they'll believe different things. but there it's quite rare to have like an actual Catholic person, except if in immigrant groups and things, you've got a lot of Muslims and Africans who are Christian, but yeah, it's very a-religious and quite anti-doctrinaire and stuff like that. So I was saying that about the baptism, the student baptisms, is you're naked, so you want to. It's basically saying we're all equal, that we're all naked and we don't have any class differences. Everyone is just a human, and we do a theatre show, and so I had to write my own theatre show for the students. There were about 30 of them, and they all had a different role, and they had things that they had to carry and do actions, and we had the music going on. It's a big party with lights, and we have everyone has their hat on and a huge coat because it rains clash. It's called clash. It's just some kind of beetroot drenched in blue methylene, which is a blue substance that they use in chemistry. But it's all blue and everyone gets completely blue. It's a huge food fight, and you've got these first years, 18-year-olds doing these things on the stage and dancing around. And so, yeah, make all the music and do the different scenes. But yeah, the idea, the logic in it about the freedom of freedom of thought of the Free University, is, you're doing it of your own volition. You don't have to do it. The point is you can choose. Like, we'll tell you do this now, and we want you to be able to say no. You know what? Fuck you. Fuck you guys. I'm going home. That's the idea, and that people have different ways of having that expressed. Some people go really strong in that, like they'll keep telling you to do something until you say no, and that's when you've passed. Now that's a big secret. You're not supposed to know that, but anyway. We'll talk about religion. I don't know. Probably offend a lot of people. I'm not. Thing is, I don't know that many people who have religious faith, in my close friends or anyone close to me. Like my grandma does, and it always, in England, it always bugs me. Like, I can't understand how people believe this stuff. It's like we've been through the Enlightenment. Like, what was the Enlightenment for? Don't you remember? God. Anyway. I used to study this thing called street epistemology, where it's this guy, there's a lot of people now, and they go in the street, and it's really nice, but the idea is to be just sort of open for a conversation and not to have a goal of trying to convince of anything, but to really just be listening. Like, okay, why do you believe, what do you believe? How high is your confidence in this belief? Any belief, doesn't have to be about God, like anything. How high is your confidence, and what is the main reason for your belief? And then you carry on talking about it, but it has to be like a really nice conversation, and you want to show interest for the person and try to engage with the subject. So it's not easy, because a lot of people are like trying to, I want you to believe what I believe. But if people who do it well can really help. I see it as like basically helping people think through things for themselves, not making you think something, but I might ask you a question that you hadn't thought of, and you'll be like, that's a good question actually. And that just sort of opens the doors for doxastic openness, they call it. So basically the goal of street epistemology is to see if you can get people's beliefs. It does have a goal, really. It is kind of sneaky. But if people say, oh, my belief, I'm 100% believe in this, whatever, 100%. And you're like, okay, it's a lot about, I keep changing. Yeah, 100%. And the goal is, okay, could I ask you, could I shed doubt on it enough that you will bring your confidence down from 100 to anything below 100? Because if you're at 99%, that already opens up the possibility for another belief. And I think that's more important than not believing in God, is to be open to to believing anything. I don't know, I think these days I care less about that when I'm in a good mood. I just struggle to understand how it's possible to believe in God. I do. It's my struggle, because people do. So obviously, the problem is that I don't understand it. So the problem is that I don't have enough creativity or empathy to understand how someone else believes something different from me. That's a big trouble I have on a lot of things. You may have noticed. Yeah. That's also one of the hardest times I had in life. Okay, big honesty thing, but what's left to lose? A moment in my life I was sort of down a lot was being frustrated at people for basically not living up to my expectations. Competence. I was on the word competence a lot. I was like, people are not competent. And I struggled with that. I didn't understand. I was like, am I seeing reality? Like, are people actually not competent? Or am I blind to their areas of competence that I just can't see? And yes, it's definitely that a lot. But also, people are not competent at a lot of things. It's both. And so am I. Ooh. No. So am I an observer or a decider? I don't know. You decide. You choose. Okay, well, I'm slowing down a lot. I'm sorry about that, but yes, I'll try to keep up the talking, keep up the chit chat. Okay. See, I've left 100 stories unfinished. I do that. Tangents. Tell us about the best times of your life. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I actually did finish off some stories. Come on. It's all right. It's not that bad. It's okay. What's the biggest challenge in my life right now? Ooh. to talk about what you really care about. Okay, well, the biggest struggle of my life. I'm 27 now. I'm 27 and I haven't got a proper career of anything particular because I just keep having different ideas of something I want to do. I want to start up a business in this and that. I've invented a box. I've invented a game that I could sell with my laser cutter machine that I have in my bedroom. I could show you actually now, I won't show you. But I've invented sort of a foldable version of this traditional Belgian dice game that people used to play in bars and do play in bars. And so it's like the fold up version you can put in your bag. Really handy. And I was like, okay, well, let's make handy and fun and drinking. So I was like, okay, make a business out of that. But then you have to like learn how to become a business person. And I'm like, that's the worst. I have no idea how businesses get started up. I started studying the course, but after a bit, the motivation sort of weathered away. But I actually got quite far. Like I actually built the boxes and figured out a lot of different ways to streamline the production. But yeah, maybe I'll take that up again. But I just have a lot of ideas, of things to do, to sell or to be, and I never really have found something that I'm like, clearly, yeah, I want to do that. Because I like music. I'm pretty good at playing music. I could sing, play the harmonica and the accordion or whatever. But I just haven't invested the time and the discipline to do that. So basically, yeah, the biggest struggle in my life generally is to narrow down one course and do that, and then from there do more things. I just do lots of different things. An example. Well, with this engraving machine, I was doing engraving pictures for people. So you send me a photo in black and white of something, and I'll engrave it onto wood and have it nice and lacquered and things on the thing, and you can hang it up on the wall. I got quite far with that idea as well. I sort of work it out and then just don't do it, because then, you have to do it. And I'm on my own. I don't know how to do this shit. So maybe I'll do it one day. Tony Robbins has 30 businesses. I don't understand how that is possible, but imagine that you could just build a business. I do that and make it, okay, this is a business. This is how you take a picture. This is how you do customer care. This is how you do selling. This is how you use engraving, this program, okay, teach you that. Okay, boom, there's a business done. It's rolling out money, people are happy, and that just then, okay, built the business, sell it, boom. Like conceptually, that would be amazing. I haven't made that part of a must in my reality of my mind, because it's just so far from anything I don't know anyone who does that kind of stuff. I think that would be good to meet someone who knows how to do that. Okay, so recently I've decided I was going to be a régisseur, which is a technician. For my mum works in theaters. She does shows for kids or like general audience. An hour show, music and singing and stuff. And so she tagged me along for a lot of the rides to do the lighting and the sound setup for the microphones. There's two of them, got a microphone, help set up all the stuff, and then work with the technician in the theatre, because it's every time in a different theatre, and you set up the lights in the right place and the right angle and the right size with the right colours, and then you sort of program them all together on the table, and then during the show you do the light transitions and have the sound right. So that I've been doing that for like a couple of years, and it's pretty good. So I think that is definitely some place I could try to go that direction, make a first career attempt in that way, and then start making some money, good, like real money. So yeah, but the challenge is to do that. What I would really, as I said before, leadership. I find leadership very appealing. That's something that would get me out of bed in the morning, like, responsibility and managing groups of people to achieve common goals, like important stuff. Get some good contacts with different people. Like, okay, good links. Like, I'm actually quite good at meeting people and having a good first touch. Good impression and positive, and not getting caught up on like all the human drama between, oh yeah, well, I'm, significance and stuff like this, like, oh, I'm this person. I'm like, yeah, I'll give you your significance. Fine. I'll play with you a bit. We'll have fun. We'll joke around, buddy, and I'll acknowledge you for your role in society, your position, and I'll tell other people like, this is this person, and just then make it all good. People just want to have a fun time, good vibes. So if I could be building that would be great, and I feel like I could solve a lot of tensions between people. I'm sort of hearing how absurd that sounds based on other things I've said, but yeah, just contradictions exist, are real. Okay, fuck. Yeah, climate change, wars, religion, language. Okay, next question. How many questions? All right, so just question 6. Let's see. What would your ideal life look like 10 years from now? Well, I've been asking myself that question. I've actually tried to do a life coaching session, couple sessions with this guy on coach.me or something. And he had me do that exercise, like, okay, in 5 years, what do you want to do? And I tried to write it all out, but I don't know. I feel like I want to aim much higher. I'd sort of made myself a little life that was nice, like, okay, I've got kids and I go get them at school and I play some music with the friends in the afternoon, and I'm going out for the weekend somewhere. And I was like, I want to go much further than that. I don't know why. Not further in the sense better, like some people, that's what they want, and that's great. It's just, whatever appeals to you. So I don't mean further in sense better. Just, yeah, more big, I guess. So I haven't made a new idea for in 10 years from now. Let's be, okay, concrete. In 10 years, I'll be 37. I would like to have some kids by then. Yes. 37, yeah. No. 2, that would be good. just growing, just keep on growing, you know, that's all really. You just keep growing during your whole life, non-stop. You're growing and you're giving. That's it. But yeah, I don't know. I'll get back to you on that one. 10 years. I can't say. I haven't dared to imagine that yet. Best times. Okay, let me just see if there was anything else I wanted to talk about, because now I've gone through the questions. So see if there's any other subjects I wanted to touch on. I've talked about a lot already, actually. What? I don't know. No, that's about it, I think. You have any questions? I wish there was like a question chat thing. Let's see. Best times of your life. It's funny to talk about yourself. I was going to say that before. I was thinking, I was like, oh, like a whole hour, you're talking about just yourself? Me? Really? All right, but it's hard to believe someone's that interested. I don't mind, though. I could talk about myself more. I've really touched on most of what I'm thinking about. All right. Okay. Well, I think that's about it. I'll make a second clip if I think of something desperately. Different trips. I'm sure it's all right. Okay. Take care. Outro. I don't know. What can I say that's good? You take care. Best of luck with all your endeavours, whoever you are. You can do it. And yeah, that. Bye.